Just start. Two simple words that mean a lot, but don't really feel strong enough to get you going, right? I mean, how many times have you thought about starting something, an idea, a project, whatever, and then stopped to ask yourself, what's really stopping me? I say that because that's exactly what I think about every single time I want to start something new. It's not like I commit to every random idea that pops into my head, but I'll be honest, it's reassuring to at least acknowledge that I'm not just resting on it, you know? I'm not ignoring it. It's not like I've forgotten it. I'm just thinking about it all the time. Especially at work. I'm there on autopilot for 90% of the night, just going through the motion. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate my job. I don't love it either. It's just a thing I do to keep the lights on. But in those autopilot moments, I'm always thinking, well, what would I do if I could just create all the time? For me, it's all about that creative spark. That's what gets me going. I want to feel like I'm going through a creative process when I do something for me, something I genuinely enjoy, something that gets my mind working in a way that my night job just doesn't. But here's the thing, every time I think about starting something new, I also have to face this crazy mental battle. You know, the one where you get a bunch of thoughts trying to tear down your idea before you've even had a chance to explore it? Stuff like, why would you even try? What makes you think you can do this? That's the noise. And for me, I try to treat those thoughts like tests. It's almost like my mind is asking, how badly do you really want this? If I don't love the idea enough, I'll drop it. If I do, I'll push through. And hey, I know that sounds pretty optimistic, but I try to be optimistic with really all situations, albeit that's after different situations and also not being an optimist. But I see it like a seesaw. Eventually it changes sides and you feel what the opposite perspective does. Thinking with these thoughts helps me figure out what's worth fighting for creatively. And I'm sharing this because maybe you're watching right now and you've got your own thing that you want to start. So, what's holding you back? I get it. Sometimes life makes it tough. Money might be tight, time might be scarce. But here's what I've learned. If you're passionate enough about it, you'll find a way to make it work, even if it's not perfect. This channel, these videos, I'm not using some fancy setup, trust me. I've got a headset microphone, OBS, some basic level editing, and some mediocre Dark Souls gameplay with a naked samurai running around. It's not glamorous, but it's real. It's what I can do. And it's all because I decided to just start. And honestly, sometimes I get stuck. I tweak things. I overthink. I'll spend way too long on one tiny detail. But the cool thing about just starting is that it gives you space to keep going. You always improve. You can always add new ideas later. But if you never start, you've got nothing to build on. I've realized it's not about announcing your plans to the world. Sometimes keeping that energy to yourself is what fuels the passion longer. For me, the more I keep my ideas internal, the longer I can hold on to that spark and run with it. It might not work for everyone, but if I didn't tell you, then what use would it have been? I know I'm rambling, but if you can take something from them, that's pretty good also, right? So if you're sitting on something you really want to do, just start. You don't need to tell the world, just take the first step for you. Keep it to yourself if you need to. Nurture it and let it grow. As said, I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but I wanted to share this with you because maybe you can relate. Maybe you're in the same spot I was, sitting on an idea, letting the doubts pile up. And if that's the case, this is your sign. Just start. You must want to. Otherwise, why would you have been willed on so much to watch this video? But then again, I'm just yapping about the topic as it came to my mind recently. I hope you enjoyed listening to the world from my perspective, and thank you for coming. Stay safe.